The Apple Intelligence slogan is AI for the rest of us, which I think does perfectly describe Apple Intelligence compared to other sort of AI models that I've used. I guess, what does that slogan mean to the team, and why was it important to have that front and center?
Yeah, well, as you probably know, it's an homage to the computer for the rest of us, which was the way we described Mac at the very earliest days. And why that was so important was it was really showing this difference between Mac, which was point and click and kind of intuitive, versus what at that point was kind of these arcane PC systems. And our point was that you don't need to be a tech expert to be able to take advantage of a computer. And we feel the same thing is true with Apple Intelligence, that you shouldn't have to worry about scripting and how do you create things, but you should just be able to have access to these tools and capabilities where you are, that they should be helpful, they should be easy to use and understand, they should be intuitive, and also they should protect your privacy as you go along. And so really as a counterpoint to other approaches, we wanted to call out this is meant for people across all of our products and all of our and many use cases. And so that's why that tagline or that kind of language is so important to us.
AI can be sort of overwhelming for the everyday iPhone user who maybe isn't reading about every new feature daily. I guess, what feature would you recommend they sort of start with as an introduction to Apple Intelligence when they update their phone?
Yeah, so as first of all, we're so excited to be able to bring Apple Intelligence here to Australia.
Yeah.
And it's, I think, going to be one of these things where people will just be able to discover and explore and see these kind of opportunities and use cases as they go. So they can, just be doing what they're doing and suddenly realize the benefits of Apple Intelligence. But what I would say is that it depends on what you do. And one of the great things about Apple Intelligence, it's woven into the entire experience. So for example, if you spend a lot of time writing, like I do and probably you do as well with emails and other things, writing tools is right there and it's available. And I think that's a great place for people to just go in and start to explore and open up and be able to, okay, figure out how can it, evaluate my grammar, or how can it go and change tone. And the great thing is that as you get more comfortable with it, you start to try new things as you go along. The one I just tried this morning, which is a ton of fun, is write this email as if it was coming from a Gen Z. And it actually turned out really well. So for writing tools, for people who are more kind of language oriented, I think that's a great entry point. For people who are interested in kind of the more visual pieces, we've created Image Playground as a separate app. And we deliberately called it a playground because we want people to go in and just explore and try different things and create and explore the creativity that comes along with that. And if somebody is new to our platform, one of the great things we've been able to do with Siri is to tap into product knowledge.
Yeah.
So it's a perfect way to be able to say, hey, how do I change my Wi-Fi network? Or how do I go and set up a printer? All of those things will come in. So I think the great thing is there are entry points across the system, and it really just depends on what your normal workflow is. And again, you don't have to go discover it. It kind of exposes it itself, and you get to take advantage of that.
What is one Apple Intelligence feature that you maybe saw when you were scrolling through features and maybe didn't think you would use, but now you can't live without or find yourself going to every day?
Yeah, there are quite a few, but the one that I think I just go back to time and time again because I do so much writing is writing tools.
Yeah.
Right. It is one of those things. It's available right where your cursor is. Right. And you bring it up, and you've got access to be able to take a rough idea and to kind of refine it and be able to make it something that you can send along. It's also great for grammar checks because we're all typing too fast, and it's like, okay, does this make sense? And I'm certainly not a grammar expert, but the good thing is writing tools is, and so I can take advantage of it. And so it's the thing that's great about it is it just come into my daily flow, and I don't have to think about, oh, I'm going to go use writing tools. It's just that becomes part of the way in which I do the work that I do.
Siri sort of taps into ChatGPT, which feels like it's kind of new territory for Apple. I guess, how does that improve the experience? And I guess when it comes to privacy, how is that ensured, I guess, from start to finish throughout that process?
Yeah. So with Apple Intelligence, we went and created and built and trained our own foundation and diffusion models to be the core of Apple Intelligence. And then we've built these kind of transformers to be able to do things like summarization and be able to, bring writing tools or, create Genmoji, those kinds of things. So we've made Apple Intelligence incredibly rich and robust, and as you know, have really kind of leaned into privacy, which we believe is core and central to what we do. We also recognize, though, that there are external tools that will be complementary to what we're doing, and so we want to bring those and make those available to our customers in just as natural a way as Apple Intelligence. And so the great thing with ChatGPT, who we started with, is that you have access to it wherever you are. It's not that you have to go off to open up a separate app and copy and paste and do all of this. It just kind of built into the flow. And from a privacy standpoint, you stay in control the entire time. You decide if any information is going to go to ChatGPT, and you decide if you want to actually, use that capability. If you do decide to, by default, you're not logged into a ChatGPT account, but you have access to the capabilities, and they will not log and use any of the requests for training data or their training sets or any of those kinds of things. And we also mask the IP address so that there's no way to track different queries across time. So the great thing is with ChatGPT, it's complementary to what we do with Apple Intelligence, but we've also worked hard to ensure that we can provide as much privacy protection there and keep you in control.
Siri was first introduced, it was kind of positioned as maybe like an assistant or something that could help you, and that kind of feels like it's coming to reality now with Apple Intelligence. I guess, do you think this is a turning point in terms of like messages being automatically responded for you and like things automatically added to calendars and emails being... I know there's kind of the beginnings of that with prompts and things like that, but do you think that this is the beginning of computing really, I guess, helping out in your day-to-day life, I guess?
Yeah, it's hard to predict the future, especially when we're in such the early innings of a powerful technology like artificial intelligence and specifically with Apple Intelligence. But I think one of the key things is we really do believe in having the user remain in control and be able to go and be able to see what's going on, to have transparency so that they have confidence in the fact that their privacy is being protected, they know what's going on. And as you point out, we are starting to do things like provide suggestions for responses. And I expect those will continue to get better over time. But I think it's also important for the customer to feel like they're still in control, right? And able to take advantage of, and understand what's going on. So we'll see as it develops. I mean, the exciting thing is it's arriving here, this week. And the great thing is we'll learn more as our customers start to use it in a whole host of ways.
Yeah, for sure. And lastly, I was just playing with Genmoji this morning, and like many prompts were coming into my head. I've got two little sausage dogs, so lots of sausage dog prompts.
Nice, good.
Is there something you've used or seen? It feels like I kind of have to ask about what you've seen that's kind of amazed you with Genmoji.
Well, it's great because I was going to ask you the same question because I mean that's the amazing thing is that the creativity is just starting to get unleashed, and it's fun to see. There are two that come to mind. One of which is this is my first trip to Australia, and so I've got lots of people asking, so how is it? What are you seeing? So fireworks over the Sydney Harbour turns out to be a great Genmoji that you can send, and people are like, oh, I know where you are. The other one is my family. There's this, I don't know if it's true in Australia, but in the U.S. there's this pickleball craze going around.
It's taking off, yeah.
And I can legitimately say one of the #1 requests I've had for a long time was, when do I get a pickleball emoji? Good news is that's happening today. You've got your own pickleball emoji.
I love that.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you.